Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We're excited to host this webinar today talking about Q4. We know this is something many of you have lived before, and it's a bit daunting that we're coming up here getting ready for busy season. So we wanted to talk a little bit today about how Plansight has been helping agencies to have a more stress-free Q4, helping to add efficiency to the entire renewal season. So wanted to introduce myself and Jessica as well. We're your co-hosts today. My name's Kelly Brown. I'm the Director of Enterprise Sales here at Plansight. Been loving working with different agencies and really enjoy strategizing and partnering with my clients, learning about current processes, what's working, what's not, and collaborating together to find solutions that are going to make real meaningful impact in their agencies. So excited to chat with you all today, and I will pass it over to Jessica to introduce herself as well.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Plansight webinar today. As Kelly said, my name is Jessica McGee. I am the Director of Enterprise Account Management here at Plansight, the best and only renewal tracking and RP system in the market. I've actually been in the industry for well over 14 years and currently work with enterprise accounts to support, guide, teach, educate, and ultimately support you guys in change management. So I look forward to all of the interactions today and the opportunity to connect with all of you guys here today.
Yeah, we did get one question already, so I want to address that right off the bat. We will be recording the session, so if you're not able to attend or have to jump, shortly after, we will be sending out a recording for those who were hoping to see it, but might not be able to join for the full session. All right. So first, we wanted to walk you through the agenda here. We're going to be talking about a few different things during the session today. First, we want to dive into, at a global level, what are some of the themes that are really contributing to why Q4 is broken? Why are we experiencing such inefficiency and stress during this time of year? What are some of the common challenges that results in for our agencies that we end up partnering with? And then quickly pivoting over to what's the better way forward? How Plansight's directly helping to address some of these themes and introduce efficiency, consistency, accuracy into your entire process, so your team doesn't need to be so apprehensive going into Q4 moving forward, and really embracing technology to help with that shift. We do have some questions that we'll be asking throughout, so feel free to put your comments in the Q&A. We'll be able to provide some feedback throughout. We'd love to keep this interactive. And then we also do have it at the end, we'll be opening it up for a live Q&A as well. So we will go from there. And then at the last step, if it's something that you're interested in learning more, having a personalized conversation so we can dive into your specific agency, we'll talk to you guys about how to get in touch to set something up.
Perfect. Thanks, Kelly.
Absolutely. So Jessica, you mentioned you've had 14 years in the industry. I'd love to hear from you. Why is Q4 broken? What are some of the big themes that really contribute to a lot of the stress and dysfunction that we see that comes at this time of year?
Yeah. Like I had said earlier, Kelly, I've had the opportunity to work in the insurance industry for well over a decade, starting my journey out on the broker side for most of my career, where we all know that January renewals dominate the industry, which means we have the disproportionately large amount of workload that falls in a relatively short time frame, right? Insurance as a whole has been slow to adopt technology, which means we are still supporting a manual process. And by nature, this makes us inefficient and error prone. Most of you guys may know that the P&C industry has started to see more tech become available in recent years. And now I would say is the time for employee benefits to take on the tech world as well. There's an incredible tight timeline to shop carriers, meet with clients to present options. Hopefully we don't have to reschedule even alternative meetings by putting together contribution strategies, obtaining final decisions. But we do have to then upload information into different benefit admin systems for our clients' open enrollment meetings. Without saying, this leads to, Kelly, rushing, cutting corners. I would say a focus taken away from what matters truly most, which all of you guys know is really your guys' clients, and also internally strategically thinking about who you guys are shopping for and putting together your best efforts in bundles to support your guys' clients. I would also say focusing your talents in retention and also relationships and organically growing your guys' block of business. One of the other items is disorganization, just storage. We hear from clients all the time, and every year I experience this, really just getting ready for pre-renewal meetings. It's a process to locate all of our documents and the information that we need to be successful when going out to shop year after year. So we also have to track like who's DTQing, who's provided us additional alternative options to support our clients, who's requesting additional information. And when I say who, I'm talking about the carrier. So just the strategic planning. Also, we want to take into consideration turnover. We have burnout. That is a very known fact in the insurance world. And I believe after every Q4, we have a significant amount of individuals who experience that. So for now, everyone who is on this webinar, like Kelly said, we do have a Q&A section on the right-hand side of your screen. And as we go through today's webinar, I would highly encourage everyone, as these thoughts are coming up and as we're communicating and talking about a lot of what's broken and burnout and things of that nature, I would highly encourage you guys to just write those thoughts down, write those questions down in that Q&A, and also share with us your current experience and also feedback, again, as information comes to you. A question that I would ask you guys that maybe you guys can start out with is what's really weighing heavy on you guys as you guys approach Q4, and what historically has maybe been the biggest challenge for your guys' agencies and or within your guys' teams?
Yeah, great question, Jessica. So looking at a little bit more of the downstream effects of, I agree, a lot of these manual processes that are in place, and historically there hasn't been a lot of tech available or ready in this industry. But what we're seeing is a lot of these specific challenges that we're hearing over and over again from some of our clients. So if you want to dive into some of these, Jessica, of what are some of the things that a lot of our clients come to us experiencing and looking to really solve for, that we're going to start to dive into with how Plansight will address moving forward.
Yeah. I would say that as you guys can see here, we all mutually share the same experience. And so in talking with agencies, we are hearing that these are concerns coming up over and over again. You are seeing the manual nature of this process leading to errors. This can lead to distrust with your guys' clients if they are, making a wrong decision based on bad data, or potentially E&O claims, both of which are great and can be very costly, right? Those are big, huge items that can be very costly, not only to you as the agency, but also internally with the individuals who are prepping and making everything happen. We have your AMS systems, your benefit admin systems, benchmarking, I would say employee benefit enrollment guides. Nothing in general on the broker side right now or within your agency is leading towards manual process. Everything should be leading towards AI and adopting systems that support your guys' teams. Mm-hmm. So I would say that what we had talked about on the previous slide, burnout is a big one as well.
Yeah, looking at some of the comments that we got, Jessica, it looks like everyone's agreeing with what we're hearing here. So there's definitely the thought that sometimes a lot of time is spent doing some of these manual tasks and data entry, and we'd really love to elevate them to be able to think more strategically, so we're better partnered with our clients and more competitive in the market. We're hearing we want to elevate our presentation to something that's a little more professional. So definitely hear some of these same trends that we're are being reflected by this group here. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All
right. So looking at Plansight, Jessica, thank you so much for summarizing that. And for most of you, you're living it day to day. You've all felt the pain of Q4. Jessica, you've told the story before that, every year you'd say, we're never doing this again. And then the next year you end up in that same scenario. So, what are we going to do moving forward just to make the change now so that we can plan and not have it happen again? Plansight, just to give a little bit of context and history on us, we were founded by 2 brokers who were dealing with these same things day in and day out and thought there has to be a better way. So they were very intimately familiar with the dysfunction in the process, and Plansight was their solution that they founded in 2017. And it's evolved to where it is today and really in the hands of a number of, brokers across the country, making a huge impact. So some of the high level information about Plansight, we are a solution that we work exclusively with benefits teams. And we really are meant to manage just about your full book of business. So I had a question come in. What are some of the funding types that you guys can work within? We can support your small groups with community rated medical quotes that are preloaded in the system. We also have the ability to manage all of your underwritten medical. So self-funded, level funded, fully insured groups, and over 26 different ancillary and voluntary lines of coverage. So one platform that you can put together really robust packages for your clients, all within the one system here. And Plansight, to Jessica's point, it really does become a management tool to not only help with the marketing, but also to organize all of your data. So it's really going to start by you have your current data stored within our platform. So when your team is ready to start pre-renewal conversations or starting a marketing event, they're not panicking trying to find last year's data. It's already at their fingertips, right? So then from there, they can easily put together a RFP within Plansight. We will distribute it out to your carriers via email. We work with your carriers that you have relationships with. And then from there, as the quotes come back, we use AI to assist in spreading those quotes. So it's going to do a first pass, getting the data out of the quote and into the input fields so that your team can really focus their time and attention, QAing where there have been changes in plan design and where it's really going to make the biggest impact. There is a presentation that's incredibly professional. It tells a story. It's one of some of our clients say that their customers get great feedback to them about the Plansight presentation, and it's automatically generated. So your team's not spending time putting that together page by page when things are already busy. And then behind the scenes, once they make final elections, we also have several API integrations where we can push that sold plan data. So you're not manually re-entering information over and over again. And throughout this entire journey of the marketing process within Plansight, you're really going to see some of these benefits that help to drive some time savings, efficiency, an increase in accuracy by using, like it says, the AI-powered proposal entry. The dashboard provides visibility across the entire team so that we're not so siloed. The integrations of different platforms. We have dedicated APIs in place already with Benefit Point, Employee Navigator, Bright Benefits, and in discussions with some other platforms as well, which ultimately really leads to significant time savings once your team has adopted to the platform, and a pretty significant reduction in errors as well, right? By utilizing technology to assist in that data entry. So excited to dive into this a bit more with you here.
Yeah, that actually brings us to how easy is it to actually use Plansight? Very similar to what Kelly had just said. Ultimately, the system is very user-friendly, and internally, we work with our agencies across the country to make sure that the system works appropriately for you guys. You guys are the ones at the end of the day who are actually using it. So we have enhanced the product significantly, in the 2.5 years that I've been with Plansight, because you guys speak and we hear you, we listen to you, and we make changes to make sure that you guys are diligently creating a process within a platform that helps your guys' company succeed. Plansight is a tracking mechanism that allows you to easily review your clients, proactively set up your clients' pre-renewal presentations, like Kelly had said, distribute your clients out to the market when or if you guys decide to, allowing you to visually see a side-by-side of your spread compared to your SBCs, your benefit summaries, your rates, your census information, et cetera, right? Kelly had mentioned that as well. Ultimately, this gets you to a beautiful presentation that is automatically being built out in the system as you're walking through and reviewing your client's information throughout the renewal and or RFP process. That gives you an end result of a beautiful presentation to then provide to your guys' client.
Awesome. And we did get another question, just confirming that yes, this system, it does work for both small groups, so sub 50, in some states sub 100, and also large groups, all the way up to your largest self-funded clients. You can use Plansight. And again, if this is something that you have questions about those specific segments, we'd be happy to schedule some one-on-one conversations where we can kind of walk you through the details of how we accommodate those different group sizes.
Yeah. And Kelly, just to your point, I personally worked with clients who have had 2 to 50. We've had a significant amount that have 2 to 10, right? They're smaller group. All the way up to, I've had clients that have had over 5,000 employees, and they're getting the same results out of the system that they're not necessarily getting when they're doing everything manually internally.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that context, Jessica. All right. So risk mitigation with Plansight. It's interesting. In insurance, you guys are really in the business of mitigating risk. And Plansight is ultimately a tool that's going to do that for you and your workflows as well. Coming into Q4, there's a number of different ways that things can go off the rails. And what we're doing is giving you technology that is really working around the clock. It's there 24 hours a day. There's no vacation, no sick time. When quotes come in, AI is automatically going to start scraping the data out of those quotes and getting it into the system at a first pass, so that you have basically a sidekick or a tool for your team, allowing them to really spend more time on the strategy with the clients versus the manual data entry and building presentations slide by slide. Because again, when you think strategically about what's going to help us to grow our block of business, what's going to help us to retain our clients, it's not, hiring more people to be entering this data. It's making sure we're going to the right carriers. We're putting together a compelling presentation that we can bring out to the market, making sure we have time to continue to be in front of our clients. So by having technology in place to help to smooth out some of the more manual pieces of the process, that really helps. And even things like tracking. So for example, some of the stories that we hear talking with clients is that Q4 things are busy. Producers might go to their account managers and ask for them to quote a certain number of carriers. And they say, we just don't have time. These carriers are going to quote bundled options. So that's who I need to go to because there's not enough time in the day. So making sure that you're able to really do the due diligence that's going to really benefit your customers. Also there are some boundaries within the platform where it catches things like enrollment eligibility for small groups. So if you have a newer team member who maybe doesn't have all the historical knowledge that some of your more experienced team members do, they might not catch things like if a dependent's aged off their parent's plan or someone's out of the geographical network for qualifying for a certain plan. And this system's going to catch all those things, making sure that the accuracy that you're delivering is consistent and superior, right? So whether you have a greener team, a more experienced team, it really levels the playing field so that across the board, you're delivering consistently quality work. Yeah.
And just to add to that, Kelly, I mean, just in my past experience, like I have had, we've had burnout, we've had over, we're working really hard. We're working till 2 or 3 in the morning, sometimes getting to client meetings at 6 o'clock in the morning. So having a system that allows you to utilize AI to scrape out data allows your team ultimately, this is not to replace your team. This is to support your guys' team, to allow them to focus their talents in areas where they're actually needed, and allowing AI in a system to support tracking, to support human error, to support, inability to actually scale during Q4 or during Q3 when you guys are vamping up for the Q4, losing people to potential other agencies and or carriers or just out of the industry as a whole. I would say that like a system like this would have benefited me tremendously. Again, allowing my talents to be focused in other areas such as, growing my block of business and retention.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great points, Jessica. And we're going to show you guys a short video here soon. But, you mentioned the AI and the way that our AI is really working. Again, it's not meant to take over anyone's job, Jessica, to your point. We're not replacing your team members. We're really empowering them. So it's going to provide that first pass scrape of data. And then it's going to compare that quote to current. If something matches current, typically we're asking them to match current, it's going to show that yes, AI verified that field matches. And we have an extremely high degree of confidence that that information is accurate. But we're going to highlight in purple where there are deviations from current. And we're going to let the team know this is what our AI found in the quote. But that's really directing your team to where their time is going to be most valuable, QAing that document, making sure that we're getting that information out. Another area that we see a lot of errors is transposition errors. I hear the phrase again and again, Jessica, fewer touches, higher accuracy is something that everyone's really looking for, but doesn't know how to get there. And with Plansight, they've developed a really unique QA process where you can actually click the numbers directly in the document, which is going to be surfaced next to the input. And when you click the number, it clicks directly in. You're not Command-C copying. You're not right-clicking. It's a very quick and easy flow for your team to be able to fill in any gaps that we might not have caught, while, again, not entering the data. So we're really significantly minimizing any of that error or opportunity for error there. Yeah. So this, just dove in a little bit more to some of the things we were just talking about. So at this point, if we want to show, we have a quick 2.5-minute video just based on the time we have during the webinar today. We didn't have time to dive in and do a live walkthrough of Plansight, but we wanted to give you a look at what a day in the life of Plansight actually looks like. So I'll go ahead and start this video now.
Plansight, because life is too short for manual data entry. Welcome to Plansight, where AI takes the busy work out of data entry and your workflow gets the upgrade it deserves. If you've ever found yourself stuck chasing down carrier reps, lost in a sea of spreadsheets, or rebuilding the same presentation again and again, you're not alone. Plansight puts all that in the past. Now, you'll move faster, think smarter, starting with RFPs. In Plansight, building and sending an RFP is effortless, even enjoyable. Just choose the products you want to take to market, like medical, dental, vision, life. Plansight handles the heavy lifting. With just a few clicks, your RFP builds itself. We automatically generate a carrier distribution list tailored to your criteria, like the product type, group size, or location. And we pair each carrier with the right rep. No more chasing contacts. No second guessing. Once your RFP is out, Plansight keeps you in the loop. You'll see exactly who's engaging, who opened it, who downloaded attachments, who submitted a proposal, or declined, all in real time, in one clean, simple view. No follow-up emails, no tracking spreadsheets, just full transparency without the hassle. Once the RFP is submitted, this is where Plansight really shines. As proposals are uploaded, Plansight builds your side-by-side comparison instantly, labeling each plan with the carrier name. Here's where the smart part begins. Plansight pre-fills each column with match current logic, a starting point your team likely builds manually today. Think of it as automated setup, saving you hours of copying, pasting, and double-checking. Then, Plansight's AI performs the first round of quality control. It scans each value, like premiums, deductibles, copays, coinsurance, and flags any differences from the current plan. Matches are tagged as AI verified, and changes are highlighted in purple. When it's time to present, Plansight turns your data into a polished, client-ready deck, tailored to the layout that matches your brand. Plansight highlights key plan details and guides your clients through every decision. No PowerPoint, no Excel. And the result? Faster approvals, cleaner handoffs, and more time spent on strategy, not formatting. Plansight is built for brokers like you, the ones ready to modernize their process, deliver more value, and move faster. From the first RFP to the final presentation, Plansight simplifies every step. We're thrilled to have you on board, and we can't wait to see what you'll do with the platform. Let's make your workflow smarter together. Plansight, because life is too short for manual data entry.
All right.
Life is too short for manual data entry.
It sure is. Exactly. And when you think about, for a lot of these team members that are in the thick of, renewal season and managing marketing events, the number of things that they need to manually track, Jessica, you keep talking about the burnout that happens, and we talk about the opportunity for errors. It just, when you have that many balls that you're juggling in the air, it's bound to happen, right? So as you guys saw in the video, by having a platform that really tracks a lot of this information for them, it does some of the data entry for them, it creates that presentation, it just makes it so they can really channel their energy and their focus. To your point, Jessica, if you had a tool like this, you would have focused on organically growing your book of business, right? What are some additional benefit lines that we can add to better protect our clients and coverage, but also grow our business? So some of the main themes when we go back and talk to our clients, both pre-sale and then post-sale, that keep coming up again of what's the benefit that you're seeing by implementing Plansight, and how is this helping in a time like Q4? It really comes down to some of the main bullets that you've seen here. Efficiency, absolutely helping the team to be more deliberate with where they're spending their time, reducing the amount of repetitive manual tasks so that they can focus on that strategic work. Accuracy, absolutely. We've seen a huge shift. And this is something that we've done research in other industries that have gone from a very manual data entry process into more automation using technology. It definitely helps to increase accuracy pretty substantially. So that's something a lot of our clients are looking for. Consistency, we hear a lot, especially with some of our enterprise practices. They're looking to create more consistency across regions and offices so that there is a common process of how things are done. It's easy to train new hires. If someone else has to come in for a new hire, it's very easy to onboard them when you have this. And then that consistency and deliverable as well, and really protecting your brand out there in the market. When you have different, again, some of your more senior reps might be, or team members might be putting together great presentations, but when there's not consistency across that, it can be difficult to really manage your brand out there. That risk management piece is a big one we dove into. Plansight, it doesn't call in sick or take vacation. It's going to provide, something that's very dependable. It's a safety net that supports both seasoned team members and your new hires alike. And then turnover protection. Jessica, do you want to chime in on this one a bit?
Yeah, I would say whether, like it says on here, like whether your team is growing or changing, Plansight keeps your process intact and helps new employees get up to speed fast. I would say that actually loops back around to consistency. The system not only provides resources to help large agencies, small agencies streamline their process, but one of the biggest areas where I could have grown on the broker side, because we're all learning something new every single day on that side of the business, is what is my counterpart doing that maybe I'm not doing that's helping him or her be successful with their clients? Like, how is their retention rate higher than mine? And or what am I currently doing right now that I could pass along to my coworkers or internally that would support them in maybe retention, or the relationships that I've had that I actually still have until this day from 14 years ago. Truly, the system not only allows you to streamline processes to help bring down the stress level of what Q4 provides. And we all know that Q4 is what we talk about, but ultimately Q4 starts in Q3 And with self-funded, it starts in Q2 if you have a January, right? We're doing that 6 months, potentially 3 months in advance, but like we're trying to be proactive instead of reactive. The benefit of our system as well, like what is one of the biggest benefits is like I prefer consistency across the board, because I would love to know, again, what my internal staff and team is currently doing to help them be successful, and what tips, tricks, and items can I pull from them that I can also incorporate in my life. I work currently right now with several different agencies across the country that still want their agencies, like their larger agencies, they still want their offices to have customability. They still want their offices, to have, they want consistency when it comes, to utilizing a system, but they still want their offices to be able to do what they're currently doing because they're successful at it. So definitely provides consistency. It provides a streamlined process, but it also allows different offices, even within the same agency, to customize specific to what they're currently doing and or their clients. Ultimately, having a system that supports and is a tracking mechanism prevents that overwhelmingness of what a Q3, Q4 can provide, and I think would detract from turnover.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jessica. And I think another thing that we hear that can be daunting is we go through this entire process. We're squeezing a huge amount of work for a majority of our clients into a very short time frame. And then after we're done and we make final decisions, we need to update our Ben admin system. A lot of agencies want you putting that information into the management system. If you have an employee booklet that you're taking time to put that together. So manually re-entering this data over and over again, and that it can just feel like you're ready to be done, and then the work just keeps coming. So a lot of our customers have really loved some of the integrations that we have, where you can take that sold plan data, the co-pays, deductibles, co-insurance rates, and feed them over to Benefit Point, to Employee Navigator. We've had a number of Benefit Point users that say we started wanting, putting that information in, and we were able to get a lot more use out of some of our other Vertafore products by doing so. But at the end of the day, the team just doesn't have the bandwidth to do it anymore. So they're not doing it, and they're getting a lower return on investment on what they have with their current technology. So being able to not only make this process a bit easier for a team, but also take some of these additional tasks off their plate. And they'll love you for that.
Yep, I sure will. You bring that up in regards to, I'm thinking about, the current process right now with pre-renewal, with renewal, with making final decisions, with getting my clients ready for open enrollment meetings. But also you have the aftermath, right? You have the cleanup. You have to make sure ID cards are in hand. You have to make sure censuses are sent over. You have to make sure, I had to get information into Benefit Point, which our system easily connects to. We used Employee Navigator with every single one of my clients, right? I had to get that information in there. You have a whole bunch of cleanup work that you have to do that our system easily connects with. So really great point, Kelly.
Absolutely. So I did want to mention, we had a current customer that joined. Heidi from LP Insurance is one of our customers. It's been on for a little over a year. And she submitted in the chat just a little testimonial. So I thank you so much, Heidi. Would love to share this with you. She said, "We love the ease of Plansight in my office, and it makes comparing plans/prices quick and easy so we can get on with the rest of our day. I cannot speak highly enough of how receptive the folks at Plansight are to the agency feedback to make it even better for all brokers." We really appreciate that, Heidi. Thank you. We do love truly partnering. I know one piece of feedback we get is sometimes you guys work with a technology company and they get you in, they get you, quickly trained, and you never hear from them again. And, Plansight really does want to be your partner for all things, renewal and marketing. So Heidi, we appreciate that.
Thank you, Heidi.
That feedback. So as far as differentiation, this is a question we get a lot when we talk to agencies. So wanted to quickly touch on it. I know that there's more and more options that are out there in the benefit space now when it comes to renewal and marketing tools. So just wanted to very high level talk about some of the things that make Plansight truly unique in the space. The first is the fact that we truly do have the capabilities of managing your full book of business. We can work with those small groups. We can work with large groups all the way up to, again, Jessica, you mentioned you've had a group within the system over 5,000 lives, self-funded. It's very sophisticated with how it manages the self-funded portion. So if you guys work in that space, we'd love to talk to you about that. Over 26 different voluntary and ancillary. And then the other thing is we're not requiring you to work with specific carriers that we have partnerships with. You guys have relationships with your carriers, and in talking to people, they usually tell me that's the favorite part of their process is the relationships with those carriers. So you're still maintaining that relationship. You can pick up the phone and call them, negotiate, talk strategy. This is really a back-end efficiency tool that allows you to work with any carrier that you have. As long as they have an email address, you can communicate with them through Plansight. And then the last thing is the presentations. We hear over and over again that our presentations really elevate their brand in the market, and the feedback that they get from their customers as far as the presentations is wonderful. So would definitely point that out. All right. So we wanted to leave some time at the end here for Q&A. We do have one question that came in, but anyone else at this point, if you have questions, please feel free to submit them. Over on the right-hand side, there's a little question mark that you can click on to submit questions. So we had Kevin asking, what is the cost for Plansight? So the way that we charge at Plansight, we actually take a look at the number of groups that you put into the system. And depending on the volume that is entered into Plansight, there's as you add more volume in, the price goes down slightly. So that's something that we'd be happy to have a one-on-one conversation and discuss, your agency, what size groups you're working with, number of groups you're managing, and be able to give you a good estimate of what Plansight might cost. Great question. So let's see. All right, one more. I like these questions. What does the implementation look like? The onboarding timeline, it looks like, Jessica.
Yeah. So the onboarding timeline, it's anywhere between 10 to 14 weeks. And the truth is based upon your needs and when you guys come on. We have also consolidated that and also extended that just a little bit. But what does it ultimately look like? We work with you and your individuals within the agencies to find somebody who truly is going to support the relationship between Plansight and your company. We need to make sure that everybody is up to par when it comes to change management, because again, I had a process that worked, right? For a lot of years, it worked. And so for me to transition into a new system that I didn't know what I didn't have, ultimately allowed a little gap between me really wanting to move forward and knowing that I had a system that worked. I didn't know what I didn't have, right? Mm-hmm. And so we work with a team that makes sure that you guys are up to par with some back end setup. We want to make sure that your current process, if I'm just throwing a process out there that I know that I personally used in my past, is I would go ahead and put reminders on my calendars. I've got renewal coming up. I need to request my renewals. I need to set up open enrollment. Usually I'm moving backwards in regards to me going through the renewal process. So I have my open enrollment set up. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have my final decisions out to Employee Navigator and my benefit enrollment guide, things of that nature. I need to go out to the market. I need to make sure I give carriers enough time during Q4, things of that nature. And so what we truly ultimately want to do, knowing if I'm going to be going out to the market this year for this client, is that going to happen 2 months in advance, 3 months in advance? Do I have to have my renewal in order to go out? Can I just send out my current? We work with those specific individuals, which we call Plansight champions, to make sure that we have the process that you guys are currently going through transition well into Plansight. So if you guys are currently distributing out through email, we want to make sure that we have all of your carriers set up on the back end. We want to make sure templates are set up on the back end. So the process is a little bit more intricate when it comes to the back end process. But once we start training with your team, we have 3 core trainings. We want to make sure that you have the navigation of the system to go through and review your client. We want to make sure that you're able to set them up for pre-renewal and or distribution proactively versus reactively. If it's reactively, that's great too. We get that. And we distribute out through the market. We also have training surrounding managing quotes and contribution strategies, and also census enrollment count to make sure numbers are coming in, and also are you spreading the most appropriate and or competitive alternative options for your client. And then lastly, we have our presentations training. So our presentation is for you guys to customize what that actually looks like for your client. Because although I'm trying to streamline and I want to make sure that, like, you know, what Katie's doing next to me is also what I'm doing when it comes to the actual presentation and what my specific client's expectation is based upon historically providing them with a presentation, it might look just a little bit different. And so I have the capability of going in and making sure that it looks the way it needs to for my client. Lastly, we hold workshops. So again, we want to make sure that this system is working for your teams. What is the current process and how can we easily translate that into the system? So again, that question is, sorry, that was a lot and a long-winded answer, but the truth is we customize your training to meet yours and your internal needs.
Yeah, great point, Jessica. Semi-related to that, someone asked for presentations. Can they customize the presentations? How much control do they have over that? So you mentioned that was part of the setup, and absolutely, you guys can go in and we have the basic outline for the presentation that takes the data that you put into our platform and formats it in a beautiful presentation layout. However, we're going to use your color schemes, your logos. You guys are determining what plan attributes that you want to talk to. Benefit by benefit. So it's truly customized to you. You can even set up different templates. So if you have, you want it to be more high level for the smaller groups and more detailed for the larger groups, you can have 2 different presentation templates. So absolutely, that's something that we can work with you guys on.
Great questions, you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? Perfect. So someone's asking, they're asking contact for more information. They want a detailed walkthrough. So Jessica, we can actually go to the next page here and show, we're happy to get into, you know, for this one individual that reached out, I'll definitely reach out to you, Kevin. But everyone else, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Plansight and having a conversation that's more specific to your agency, we'd love to connect with you. This is a link that you can go to that will get you in touch with our team here at Plansight, and we'll be able to learn about your business, learn about what's working, what's not working, and really have a strategic conversation about, to Jessica's point, what aspects of Plansight are going to make the biggest impact and how and when might make sense to implement new technology if you decide this is the right direction for your agency. So, yeah.
Well, it looks like a couple more came in. One from Samantha. Just want to acknowledge you. Heidi will definitely reach out, and Ronald. So thank you guys.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone so much. We really appreciate your time. We know this is, we're about to get into a busy time of year. So we hope this was a beneficial use of your time. You learned a few things. We'd love to chat with you a little bit more about Plansight, how we're helping to really bring technology to the industry, right? The time is now for benefits where the technology is ready. And we're excited to chat with you guys more one-on-one.
Great. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Bye.